And looks like we're live. Hell yeah. So, it's early as a motherfucker, but welcome to the stream. We're hanging out today. So, we're currently just loading her up. Alrighty, we're back and then we're in. So, at the moment we're waiting out a storm on this planet because, well, it's 150 C, and that's a little warmer than my vaguely squishy alien body can handle. But the entire reason we're here, actually, is to gather a resource called paraffinium. Which, yep, here it is. I've got a decent amount of it, but I needed it to generate something else. Oh, fantastic. I keep doing a very inefficient dihydrogen tritium burn. Which I realize makes absolutely no sense. So tritium is an isotope of hydrogen, where it's 3 hydrogens all bound together. It's H3 is what it's called. Despite this descriptor, it's not usually radioactive. You have to kind of fuck with it a bit, but you can cause it to enter a decay chain where it will decay into dihydrogen or deuterium, with deuterium being twin hydrogen. So right now we're kind of just hanging out, waiting on the weather to clear up. And I'm sure you can tell, but my ship's name is the cargo boat. We are on a planet named Zush 28T1. And actually, I can pull up the Discoveries tab, and I can tell you a little more about it. So I discovered it 3 years ago. I played 3 years ago. I haven't been back in the saddle with this game except for like recently. I think I picked it up 2 days ago again, because I saw a video online about, hey, somebody, tell the dev team for No Man's Sky that we forgive them and they don't need to keep adding stuff to their game, which is just a downright lie. If they're going to add stuff, they're going to add stuff. There's no problem there. But Zush 28T1, it's got blistering floods. The sentinels are frequent. The flora is copious. The fauna is bountiful. And we can see that the resources tab tells me that I've got star bulbs, salt, paraffinium, and activated copper in this system. The dominant life form is Korvax, so machine people. Conflict level is sporadic, so I shouldn't expect too much in the way of a fight. And the economy is trading or promising. But yeah, this is Zush. It's not the best planet, but it's not terrible, and it doesn't kill me to just come here and pick up some paraffinium. So I'll take it. And this is just the catalog with some of the milestones and such. Here's my log. So at the moment, I'm not actually following any of the main missions. I'm currently following the settlers because I need to I should go talk to the scientist at my base. Anyway, I need a Vy'keen space station, so I need to find a system with Vy'keen as the dominant life. Okay. So yeah, exploration guide is telling me to explore, but really what I'm doing right now is I'm actually working on the settlers. I have a, oh lovely, the storm quit. Which means we can duck back outside without fear of overstressing my my safety systems. And we'll go ahead and pick up some salt. Not that I strictly need it, but it never hurts to have a resource that is in middling supply. I'm sure I could always fabricate some if I found like a ton of sodium and a ton of chlorine, but that would mean that I'd have to fabricate it, and I'd rather not do that if I don't have to. So where I can, I like to pick up resources ahead of time. Star Bramble out there. There's a buried tech module. Another salt deposit. Buried tech. Buried cache. Activated copper deposits. I would not at all be opposed, actually, to here's the paraffinium deposit I was mining. I would not be opposed to collecting some of that activated copper. Not that I remember what it does, but I wouldn't be opposed to collecting some. But yeah, this is not a brand new save. I've been working at this one for a bit. I've got my own couple ships. I've got a base set up on a frozen planet. So you know, not going too poorly. I just figured I'd stream me getting back into things because this game's weirdly time intensive, and I wish to share it with more people. What is that? Oh, dangerous flora. Got it. But I reckon we've probably got enough paraffinium now. So, at the very least, we'll go ahead and just hop in the cargo boat and take her off. And I really should refill that launch thruster if I've got anything for it. Right, no fuels available for it. Let's see, do I know about any planets in system with uranium? I couldn't tell you because I'm still technically flying above this one. Well, let's go ahead and take off, get ourselves out into space a bit. And we'll go ahead and drop out of FTL real quick. Alrighty. Etro has ammonia, copper, and salt. Bath has sodium, dioxide, and copper, where we're already on Zush. Sasruk has copper, gold, and cobalt. Eats has copper, rusted metal, and magnetized ferrite. And Hachmali just has copper, paraffinium, and sodium. So in other words, no, I don't have any sources of uranium in the system on the planets. Not that it matters all that much. So let's see, is that Bath? Nope, that's Hajmali. That Bath. That is Bath. Lovely. Alright. Go ahead and angle myself and we'll engage our pulse engine. Alright, I do need to, when I get back, double check the Starship launch fuel and what that takes to craft. So, while we're en route, I ought to check this now. Here we are. Dihydrogen and metal plating, which is actually really easy to make. And then as for why I was collecting paraffinium at all, I need it to make aronium, because I need aronium for something I'm working on. But if I remember correctly, yeah, I don't have very much in the way of ionized cobalt. And I can't remember how you get that either. So, materials and items, cobalt. So the colony I look after is named Yotianville. I think we'll put the ship down in Yotianville and then we'll just kind of haul over to the base afterwards. Alright. So, Bath is cold, where that other planet I was on was warmer. But for now, all I need to think about is take that ferrite dust out of my my kit. And we'll go ahead and get these viscous fluids turned into living slime. Now, I don't believe that I have any more of it, but I've got a lot of stuff hanging out in my backpack, not all of which is actually necessary. Unfortunately, you can't turn deuterium down into dihydrogen. But you can turn dihydrogen up into deuterium, so there is that. And I really need to recharge my life support, apparently. Let's deal with that with some dioxide. Alright. Recharge everything I'm running with right now. Alright, we need 3 aronium to finish this one off. And annoyingly enough, without too much in the way of ionized cobalt, there's not much in the way of options for me. We'll prep that on runaway mold. This wants me to go find drop pod. Oh, and then as for I think the coolest thing that I've got, at least for now, I've got this Romer exocraft. That's just a dioxide deposit. I'm not all that worried about dioxide. Where are you? Copper. I don't need copper at the moment. Hello, Sentinel. Yeah, it wants me to go locate cobalt-rich rocks in caves and stuff. The only issue being, I don't know of any decent cave systems, so we're just going to kind of explore a bit. That's a sodium deposit. Alrighty. Alrighty, and then just like that, we get an upgrade for our exosuit that gives us an extra slot. And then let's go ahead and use this guy while we're here. because while I'm in the region, we can afford to save. Let's see. That's some damaged machinery. That's Frostwort. There's a hollow comms tower over there. Sodium deposit. Buried cache. Sodium deposit. Let's tag that miner settlement. Hop up in the roamer and head out. Now I do want to be careful I don't run over too much stuff, because it can damage my my roamer if I'm not careful. But what's the sense in being overly careful with a machine that's pretty durable, you know? So I'll go ahead and hop out. Drop a save here. And check out this miner settlement. Ooh, there's a hole there. We will request some dialect help, because a large number of methods for talking with people actually are more or less out of your hands. Let's see. Let's see if anything is on the market today that I might be interested in selling my stuff. I could always sell dioxide, especially on this planet. It does not take very much for me to get it. But it can be a bit of a pain in the neck if I'm not careful. Though apparently I can just buy 96 units of ionized cobalt, so we'll do that. And we'll pick up some uranium while I've got it. That would be expensive to buy all of their Starship launch fuel. It would be worth it, because you can use just one of them, I think, to recharge your thrusters entirely, but it would be expensive. We've got a citizen request back at the settlement. It's too bad that I'm not actually gonna bother with that for now. Let's go ahead and do a ping. There's a language stone over here. Fantastic. So we'll drive over to this language stone and grab one new word. So far as I know, the alien races are the Vy'keen, which is a warrior race, the Gek, which are overly capitalistic, and the Korvax, which are an interesting machine intelligence, to say the least. Yeah, we learned the Korvax word for greetings. Fantastic. So we'll go ahead and do a scan real quick. There's a subterranean relic there, not that I really care. Yeah. Fortunately, my roamer is outfitted with a pretty decent mining laser, so I can just take off the top some of these resources, and it makes my life a little easier. Alright, there are some crates over here, though, that I can crack open. Do I not have my Atlas Pass? Nope, my Atlas Pass is on my ship. Whoops. Oh well. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and search some more of my stuff, some more of these things. They're not the most useful, but they tend to have some decent stuff that I would rather not have to craft every single time I need more of them. Notably, ammunition. Ammunition's kind of a pain in the neck. I think it only takes like ferrite dust, but that's still a lot of ferrite dust to not be putting back into whatever it is I want to be working with. Now, unfortunately, I have already done a decent amount of scouting, so I don't think I'm going to find very much. But you never know. Stuff changes all the time. Notably, this subterranean organic structure is interesting. Let's see. We can drop that in there. If we drop the residual goop in here, and then we take the runaway mold, we can turn the goop into viscous fluids. Interesting. It is kind of important that I make sure I don't do that too obviously in front of the Sentinel, because they do get a little peeved if you're disrupting the ecosystem of whatever planet they're situated on. Oh, this is a cave entrance. Interesting. So we'll leave the roamer up top side here, and we'll duck down ourselves. Though I don't know if there's going to be all that much in here. So we'll go ahead and scan that. So you get units just for doing exploration stuff. It looks like it gets a little bigger down there. Let's analyze this. And then I need to recharge my mining beam. This is kind of similar to the way you'll see some people do strip mining in like Minecraft, where they get down to a certain level and then they just go in a direction, more or less. What resource deposit am I mining into? Dioxide. Dioxide's a fun resource. It's essentially carbon dioxide. So it's CO2. But because dioxide is crystalline form, you can actually use it to recharge your life support system. Because presumably there's some kind of carbon scrubber in there that makes use out of the trace amounts of carbon in dioxide. But as we can see, we are now a pretty decent ways away from where we parked our car, so we'll run back over. Now, I could just summon it back to me, but I think that's a little lame. And more importantly, you can't summon a vehicle while you're in combat, so it's important that you pay attention to where, when, and how you go about doing that. Alright, what do we have here? Buried tech. Buried tech. We got some salvage data. Interesting. What do you have? Viscous fluids? Fantastic. We have viscous fluids actually in there. Unfortunately, because I don't have any more slots, I'm not able to take out of that yet. So, let's see. I think we drop the uranium in the roamer and the silicate powder in the roamer, along with pretty much anything that might be a limited supply type item. Stuff that I might lose if I'm not careful. And I would rather not lose stuff. So, we got a bunch of nanites, which nanites are how you buy technologies from vendors and stuff. They can be very helpful. But most of the time it comes at the cost of, you know, you have to go out and you have to collect them. Let's go ahead and refuel my exocraft as much as it needs. So the number in parentheses is the number that I have when I'm doing a recharge. The number outside of parentheses is what it's going to take to do the recharge. But so now I have this living slime and these viscous fluids. So we're going to put the viscous fluids in because they'll get refined into living slime at a rate of 1:1. And then from there we do living slime into runaway mold, and then runaway mold actually becomes nanites after we finish up restoring it. I don't think there's anything all that interesting for me. So, we will... What in tarnation? Ah, cool. That's not strictly what I wanted, but cool. Alright, let's make a trip back over to Yotianville. Because why not? We'll be there in about 2 minutes. I really do need to figure out what I need to do to get this thing the advanced miner. But, at least for now, I don't think I care. Oop. If they're investigating, then that's my turn. That's my cue to get out. So the Sentinel drones don't like you harvesting in front of them, and if you keep doing it, they will attack you. And being in combat, while it's not difficult to handle it, can be a bit of a pain in the ass when all you're looking to do is do some exploration and, you know, get away with doing some light skimming. We got more viscous fluids, and we get some nanites. No, we got a scanner module. That is actually fantastic. So we'll go ahead and plonk that in. This gives me better rewards by about 6,000% for scanning anything at all, which is absolutely fantastic. Now we'll take these viscous fluids. So it will always be viscous fluids, living slime, or rusted metal in the things that I keep going around and picking up. However, it is always helpful to go pick them up because that's free nanites if you've got some spare carbon anywhere. And as you can see, we got a decent amount of ships floating over. Those, I believe, are all AI vessels, more or less. It's not exactly common for other players to be hanging out in the same system with you, but it's not unheard of. I don't see it all that often, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. But by and large, I do not care to. Well, I don't really care to engage with other players unless I have to. I appreciate them for also loving and playing the game, but unless it's me and a buddy going out of our way to hang out and play the game, not all that interested in other people. I'm in it for my own space exploration, you know? Ooh. Well, hello, floating tech module. Those are normally buried. I don't know why that one's just floating like that. Another unit of living slime. I'll take it. We actually got a movement module. So this one is jetpacks are overall more powerful. Hell yeah. How are we doing on the personal refiner? Okay, let's refine these viscous fluids down. So we want to refine everything down as much as we can before we turn it into nanites, because nanites, runaway mold gets turned into nanites at a ratio of 5:1, and if we have insufficient mold to nanites in the ratio, so if we have like 4 mold, we'll keep it, but if we only have like 1, it tends to delete that, which can make your life a bit more difficult. Some navigation data is always a good idea. And some nanites. Alrighty. I'll have to call my ship over if I want to actually get at anything with the Atlas Pass, but I'm not all that worried about it. We can go ahead and climb this ladder. And this one too. Now I'm sure I could probably just use my jetpack, but why bother? It does actually suck up some of my life support if I'm not careful, so I do want to be a little less than flippant about burning it. So this is a holographic comms tower. So, annoyingly, unless you know a lot of words, it is kind of a pain in the ass to speak the language. Because unless you know a lot of the words, you are not actually going to glean that much information as the player. What you can do is you can learn more words, which is always handy. I found a Vy'keen effigy. Interesting. So this is done. We'll transfer that over into my actual inventory. And then I think we're going to refine this rusted metal, because that refines into ferrite dust at a rate of 2 to 2. So basically 1 to 1. Yeah, and then once that's done, we'll further refine the nanites down a bit. This is an exposed cave system, actually. So we'll do a bit of surface mining. Now, the Sentinels don't care so much about me destroying resources as they do about me mining them in front of them. So as long as I'm, paying attention about how much and where and when I take resources, the Sentinels won't have too much to say to me about it. So, we will arrive at the settlement here in about 30 seconds. Assuming I keep driving in that direction and don't get sidetracked again, like I so often do. Oh, we found a geode. Fantastic. Let's crack that open, shall we? We've got a decent amount of cobalt now, so that's handy. Not to mention the cobalt in my inventory. So all that ferrite dust we can actually turn over into my my inventory. I keep a decent stock of it in store because it's just handy. I think we refine the living slime into runaway mold. And again, that's a 1-to-1 process. Oh yeah, I forgot. I need to pay attention to my hazard protection. So, people are complaining about something or other here in the settlement. Actually, they've got a request. If I grant the request, I might gain something. If I don't, I might lose something. I might gain something different instead. But we'll see. So, a group of adventurous citizens wish to leave the settlement. They have picked up a distress signal on the planetary radar. The signal is several days away, but duty compels them to respond. We'll take on the settlement debt. I'm not worried about it. So, the results will be transmitted in about an hour, give or take. Now, that is an hour of real time, but that does not mean that it's strictly a problem. As we can actually get away with not caring too much about it, to be honest. Alrighty. Right. This is actually a problem. Alrighty. I could craft more dihydrogen jelly. I think what we're going to do is we're going to make some ionized cobalt, which you can do by just using the refiner on regular cobalt. It's pretty handy that way. But I also keep a decent stock of dioxide on me because you can use it to refill your life support system. And it's a lot easier to come by than strict oxygen. We've got some Starship launch fuel. I could make more. I can't. Not at the moment, anyway. My guess for that is lack of metal plating. Yeah. So I've got all of those over on my ship at the moment. And of course I could make some, but what's the point? Now I think is the time, though, to make this this aronium I need. And we'll go ahead and put that to work. And this will be ready in about an hour. So, go ahead and hop back on the roamer, and then make way over to my little outpost. Because there's a number of refiners that I have at my outpost that actually make doing refinement a bit simpler. I can get away with not bothering so much. We're all solar powered here. I think I have a biomass generator, but there's not much point in bothering with it most of the time. Okay, we drop this rusted metal in. And let's drop this cobalt in to make ionized cobalt. And then the large refiner is useful because you can actually use it to turn multiple things into one thing. So if I knew a recipe that required the advanced refiner and I needed, say, platinum, paraffinium, and sodium nitrate, I could just throw all of those in and get some use out of it. But I'm thinking we have access to an item called an atmosphere harvester, though I think we're going to need to start with the AMU, which needs metal sheets, metal plating to be exact. So it says it needs a resource deposit. I'm assuming that's going to be one of the bigger resource deposits. I did not exactly build my base on top of one. Yeah, so I might need to go build a separate building. I'm thinking we tag this dioxide deposit and we haul ass. That's another ship, isn't it? No, that looks like a... yeah, that looks like a holocom area. Interesting. Oh well. You've got residual goop, and I want the goop. Alright. So we are going to come over to this dioxide deposit and plonk down this AMU. Though annoyingly, I don't have the uranium because it's in my roamer. So we will get here, summon the roamer, and then see where we're at from there. Okay. Well. We'll summon the cargo boat, and we'll summon the roamer. And then we need to quick transfer this to the starship. This to the starship. Right, in that case, we are good for now. So we will take these viscous fluids. And then we've got an underground tech module. Okay. Yeah, if you are playing this game and you ever need to like get out of the weather some, it is always acceptable to duck into like a little cave that you dig out or something. Shit. Ah, that hurt. Now this is where things get interesting. So we are just going to essentially we're essentially just going to build myself a little bridge here. And then I actually need to resummon the roamer a little closer, because the roamer's got the uranium in it. Now, far as I know, this AMU just needs condensed carbon every so often. And then it will just produce dioxide until the deposit it's on runs out. Which is a bit handy. I think we will build some kind of base here, at least a small one. Sure, claim a base here. That's fine. Now then, I would like to rename it, please. Eternity of Warrior. Alright, well, seeing as how that's probably not going to let me rename the base, at least I don't think so, we'll just stick on a signal booster. Yeah, we'll just stick in a signal booster. That way, if I need to, I can find it. We'll just remember that this is where I am mining dioxide. So my settlers are still out on their mission, doing whatever it is they're doing. Oh dear. Apparently pirates are attacking. Now, to me, that sounds like distinctly not my fucking problem. But, as we all know, when push comes to shove, it'll always become your problem. Unfortunately, I think everybody else has it more or less handled, and I don't need to be going and fighting pirates at the moment. There it is. It always takes me a minute to get recentered, especially on Bath, because Bath is really big and it's just like snow in all directions, which can make it a bit of a pain in the neck to try and navigate, but it's not too terrible. It is indeed, it is. So we will go ahead and put this runaway mold in my inventory. And then we've got living slime and viscous fluids. And if I remember correctly, yeah. So go ahead and put whatever I need to in the roamer. We'll grab that salvaged data. And this one's a rather novel occurrence of two of these spawning inside each other. They do it every so often. It's not actually rare, but it is pretty fun to find. Yeah, it seems like the pirates got handled without my intervention, so I'm keen to let the I'm keen to not worry about it. Alrighty, let's duck back in here though, because I'm sure these refiners are done doing their job. I will say it's a bit annoying that you can't like operate these with your inventory the way you can with the personal one. I understand it, I just don't like it all that much. So deuterium you can't actually refine much further. Dihydrogen you can turn into dihydrogen jelly, which is useful for life support gel. Yeah, so most of what I'm doing right now, I would like to process the sodium. And we'll take this ionized cobalt. So you get pugnium by fighting the sentinels, interestingly enough. Which, I mean, I do with relative frequency, so it's not actually that unusual. I will say it is a bit of a pain in the neck, though, if you're just trying to like get by and not fuss with it too much, and you just can't stop fighting them because they won't like go away. But whatever. So that's that salvaged data used. Okay. Let's save the camera so it doesn't freak out too hard. Now there is actually some salvaged data in my roamer that I'm going to take out and use here. So we are interested in structures. I don't actually want all that much in timber, because timber, the issue with timber is it takes up carbon, and you need carbon for so much other stuff. So instead, we are just going to use my salvaged data to make decisions regarding stone stuff, because you can always get stone. It's silica powder. You just mine the ground for a bit and you'll have it. What's this one got? Sodium nitrate. So we need this living slime out of my inventory thingamabob. We'll dump the residual goop in and it'll make viscous fluids, and then we'll turn the viscous fluids into living slime and then into runaway mold. So you can actually boost the effectiveness of certain modules by having them just be in close proximity with each other, which is decently handy. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think that's what I think it is. Oh dear. One of my alarms is going off. Okay. Let's see. Okie doke. Is there anything else out in the Exocraft I need? Out in the roamer. Now, of course, I could install like a radar amplifier and other stuff, but I don't strictly need to do all of that. It did not occur to me that I didn't actually have the megawatt heater installed. I should look at buying some phosphorus if I can. I don't know if we sell that on the galactic trade market, but if we do, that would be good. Didn't I have an armorer in here? What happened to that? Could have sworn I had a weapons terminal built in here. Yeah, because it is here. It's just not showing. Fantastic. Alright. Are we able to buy... The answer is no, but we can buy ammonia, so we'll buy that. I don't quite remember what I needed ammonia for, but I'm sure I needed it for something because I was thinking about it. And that would be my personal refiner done with the viscous fluids. So we'll go ahead and recharge her, and then viscous fluids turns into living slime. Oh right, I needed the ammonia for the atmosphere harvester. Somebody's having a flight battle. Okay, I don't actually know how many of these I have available to build. A large number. Fantastic. So we are going to build this last floor of the base. And then we're going to do some flat timber roof up on top here. And the reasoning behind that actually is I want to be able to put my solar panels on the roof. That gets a lot easier when you have when you have the accessibility to it. So at the moment we're bitching about insufficient light. It'll be dark for another 12 minutes. But so we're just going to take all of these and tuck them up on the roof. Not that they're going to work because it is nighttime at the moment, but if we tuck them up on the roof, then we can get away with not taking up extra space on the battery floor, because I would like for the third floor here to just be batteries, because that makes my life a bit easier if they're just batteries on the third floor. Okay, and then we'll do a timber half ramp. And it takes pure ferrite for that. Okay. I've got pure ferrite on my ship, so we will summon the cargo boat, not inside the base, but just outside. Oh, right about there. And then I should be able to build the timber half ramp I'm after. Okay. I think next on we do just the flat roof. We take the camera all the way up. So I'm thinking we do majority of it just flat roof. And then what we're gonna have to do is a timber floor panel with a rectangular door. Then if I can get her to lock there. And then we just do a timber wall there. Okay. Then we'll just run the power down here into the batteries. I need another dihydrogen jelly, which I can actually craft right now if I can find where it is. Okay. Must place on terrain. Interesting. Well, that's not all that difficult. We'll go ahead and plonk it down there-ish, I think. And then I can actually just hook it into the power network, I believe. I don't know. It might be on the grid. It might not be. I know we've still got power because the base itself isn't complaining about it. But, oh well. Oh, and we had a number of life support gel. That's handy. Alrighty. Well, back in my exosuit, we should take the living slime. Right, we do need to figure out phosphorus, and I don't remember where exactly we find phosphorus anyway. Found primarily on worlds with scorched environment. Okay. Alrighty. Yep. Let's see. I don't believe there's anything left for me to do in this particular building. It's now all set up to be a proper work shed and everything. So yeah, the grid is currently using up a bit more power than our batteries can supply, but they are more or less full, so that's fantastic. This is fueled for about an hour, which is nice. And then even more helpful is whenever the solar panels kick on, they will generate, here in about 3 minutes, they will generate a not insignificant amount of energy. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take a trip over to Yodianville. And then I do actually want to keep track of... So we don't need the cobalt anymore. I really should go talk to my scientist, though. Yeah, it won't let me fix the terrain, which is a bit annoying. I'm sure I could probably build a couple platforms and fix it that way, but that's... it could be done. So this is about halfway done. We've got another half hour before it's complete. We have no pending decisions. We are 10 million credits in debt. And that's because our maintenance costs are higher than our productivity. Which is a bit of a pain in the neck, but meh. It just means that we are basically never going to make money here. But I'm cool with it. I don't really care all that much. we're building a couple of things which will probably be decent for making some money. But that involves having them make money. Yeah, it's always easier to get out of Jotunville than it is to get in, because one side of it is fucking cliffs. Which is a bit annoying. I wish that I could remedy that with, like, my terrain manipulator, but it just won't let me. But, well, what have we gotten? So, got my hands on a life support module, it looks like. Is that all I got? Ammonium drain. 8% life support tanks. That's a bit handy. Means I won't have to refill life support as often. Frankly, I'm not all that stressed about it, but it's nice. I really should look into harvesting more carbon. But for now, we will turn our runaway mold into nanite clusters. A not insignificant portion of this game is setting something up and then just hanging out while it does it. Right, let's go talk to my scientist while I'm here. I owe them a visit. Yeah, see, there's the armory. Hello, Fit. So this is my analyst entity, Fit friend. I have learned how to make unstable gel. Fantastic. So they want me to find ion batteries, but I've already got some. Oh, poor Fit. So interestingly, so all of the Korvax are machine intelligences, and each and every one of them is sentient in some way. They're not always fully sentient, but they are frequently sentient. But yeah, they're all at the very least sapient. But that one was talking about educating its beacon child, which is I don't actually know how the Korvax reproduce, and frankly, I don't know if I want to ask that question. But they've asked me to return in about an hour and a half. So I think what we do is we drop a save at the save beacon here. And seeing as how a lot of my stuff is currently on cooldown, I don't think I've got any other missions that I actually care about. Yeah. So, we'll hang out. I think I'm going to kill the stream, though, and move on to a different game.